What is a deeming date and how does it affect your visa application? Hi, I'm Karl Konrad and welcome to our weekly edition of Australian Immigration News. I'm away on holiday this week, so we have prepared this video in advance to replace the normal weekly news edition. The benefits of watching our channel is that we are sharing our 26-year history of running a professional practice and all the experience we have gained along the way. Deeming dates are always discussed in the comments section, so it was time to shed some light on them once again. According to the Immigration Department, a deeming date is when a particular skill assessment body decides or deems that an individual has reached the minimum skill level to do the job you say you can. Now we know in the real world nobody talks about deeming dates when applying for jobs, and many skill assessment bodies do not put deeming dates on their results. Engineers Australia has never used deeming dates. They believe that if you have completed a Bachelor of Engineering, you are qualified to be an engineer. But the problem is some still do, like VidaSys, Australia's largest authorised skill assessment body. For visa applicants, deeming dates are so infuriating. The skill assessment body can remove years of experience from you and say you are not really skilled until we say you are, and on a particular date. In reality, it's quite insulting. People are being paid as professionals and a skill assessment body can say, hold on just a minute, you weren't really a professional until such and such a date. Here is a perfect example of a real result with the personal identifiers removed. It is a positive skill assessment from VidaSys as an actuary. Our client had more than 3 years experience as working as an actuary overseas since October 2019. They had completed an unrelated bachelor degree in 2016 and completed a Masters of Actuarial Studies in May of 2020. You can see that VidaSys said in this result that since they only completed a highly relevant degree in May of 2020, they did not become skilled until 1 year later, and therefore their deeming date was May of 2021. Hence they only gave 0.22 years of work experience to claim for points. However, we claimed all of their work experience since they began working as an actuary in 2019. They were granted the 189 Skilled Independent Visa on this basis of claiming all of the work experience even before they completed the master's degree. How was this done? I will explain after showing you some government policy. More than 20 years ago, when skill assessments did not even exist, the Immigration Department relied solely then on ASCO definitions. Now they have incorporated New Zealand and they call it ANSCO. Essentially, ANSCO outlines the occupations in the workforce and tells us what is the minimum qualification necessary to do a particular job. Over time, some of the skill assessment bodies have modified their skill assessment requirements away from the basic ANSCO requirements, and VidaSys is a prime example. They came up with this deeming date process. Holding the appropriate ANSCO qualification wasn't enough anymore. In most cases, you needed work experience before you were deemed skilled. A few years later, there was a landmark court case where a decision was ruled against the Immigration Department. The decision effectively said, well, the case officers have to take into account all of the work experience an applicant has after they meet the ANSCO requirement, not necessarily the skill assessment body requirement. Shortly after, the Immigration Department modified its policy, and it has been this for a long time now, and the policy states, when assessing periods of skilled employment for the purpose of awarding points, the following must be taken into account. The opinion of the relevant skill assessment authority on the period of skilled employment, including the date on which they deemed the applicant skilled, and the Australian and New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations, ANSCO, including any prerequisite qualifications or work experience relevant to the claimed skilled employment, and any other relevant information such as employment records and references. Well, that's all very well and good, you say, but it still mentions deeming dates. so can't they rely just on what Vidassess says? Well, the most important part of the policy is this. If the skill assessing authority's opinion would result in the applicant being awarded less points than the applicant claimed in their EOI, then decision makers should consider the information in ANSCO and apply the more beneficial outcome in determining when the applicant was working at a skilled level. So in the end, no matter what the skill assessment body says about your deeming date, ANSCO is still the king. This is why the example given before about the actuary was successful. ANSCO says an actuary requires a bachelor degree or higher qualification. The applicant held a bachelor degree back in 2016, therefore met the ANSCO requirement. This means that any work experience in the nominated occupation after this date was accepted, contrary to the skill assessment body's advice. Despite this reality, Vidassess and other skill assessment bodies still give out these skill assessments, implying applicants cannot claim points for work experience deducted to meet the skill level. These skill assessment results are very misleading, and when we lodge applications, in most cases, we claim the work experience Vidassess deducted from their calculations. Worse still, the New South Wales government for many years has refused applicants for state sponsorship relying on these deeming dates advice. We pointed out to them a long time ago about DOA's policy, but they refused to budge. It seems that soon now they will actually follow DOA's policy. So the point of this story is that you should not deny yourself the ability to claim as many points as you can in the work experience points category of these skilled visas. If you are confused on this issue or need clarification, we are always here to help. Please book a time by visiting our website, or if you're in a hurry, just pick up the phone to see if we can book you in earlier. Stay tuned for our normal weekly news, which will begin again next week. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.